This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs the Playbook. I love having a guest that needs no introduction, but just in case you don't know sports, this is Adrian Peterson. He may be the greatest running back of all times. The reason I say maybe is his career's not over, even though he looks older than me. He's an incredible athlete. But more importantly, this is Entrepreneur the Playbook. As much as you're an extraordinary athlete and running back, I'm just so impressed at your entrepreneurial business acumen because you have started several successful businesses. And I know so many athletes. I was just with one of the kids that you're mentoring. You know, they want to understand not just how to be successful on the field, but off the field. And I'm sitting next to one of my favorite things that you do, which is the Comfort 360. And I love the story. How did you come up with the idea of a football as a pillow?
You know, it was so random. I was down in Arizona for a good friend's Larry Fitzgerald softball tournament, so that he has every year. So I was there, and long story short, Saturday was the event, was the golf tournament. Was the softball tournament, and then Sunday he had a camp. So I was actually supposed to be flying out, and I got a call from Lou, who's like a mutual friend. He had Lou do his dirty work. Was like, hey,
Right.
see if you can get Adrian to stay and come to the camp. So I'm like, of course. So I go to the camp, and they were giving these pillows away to the kids towards the end. So Larry and some of his guys gave me like 4 or 5 of them to take home to my boys. So I get on the plane, and I carried those on with me in a little bag. And I'm just like, man, I'm trying to find a way to get comfortable, right? And so I pull one of these out, and I put it right here on the side of my neck, and I lay down. I was like, wow, like it felt like heaven. So I just kind of moved it around, and I was like, okay, let me try different positions. So I put it right here on my chest and was able to just let my head hang. It was perfect from the back. So that's how I came up with the name Comfort 360, but that's how the idea came to mind.
That's amazing. And then the harder questions are when you come up with a great idea or have a great business and you're an athlete, you know, a lot of people think they have to finance it themselves, the entire venture. How did you deal with the financing? Did you find investors? Were there investors, or did you do it all by yourself?
No, I actually did it by myself.
Yeah.
You know, came up with the whole game plan, and just came out of cost. Now I'm actually halfway through making my money back from it. You know, so I'll just continue to just get more product and go from there.
Well, one of my philosophies is you're not a quitter, obviously. So a lot of people quit when they get like halfway there, right? And I'm telling them, look, it's exponential. If you take, the first period of time, how many you sold, and then the next, and then you get to halfway there, you're literally half as much time till you're all the way there, then half as much time till you're twice as much there. So that's a critical part and point in the business. But you have other ventures as well.
Yeah.
You have the Teas of Texas,
Yeah.
which is also lemonade and juices.
Yeah.
And how did you get involved in that venture?
So I got involved with Texas Tea back in 2013, and it's actually based out of Texas, and all the ingredients are made in Texas. You know, like we have the strawberry Petite, which is from Petite, Texas. You got Sugarland sweet tea, which
Outside
is
Houston.
Yeah, imperial sugar. But I got involved because one of my close friends actually brought a couple down and was like, hey, you should try this. So maybe like 2 weeks later, man, I called him. I was like, hey, man, this stuff is amazing. Where can I get more? He was like, okay, I was hoping for that type of response. So if you would like to, invest and get involved, there's an up and coming company. So that's how I got involved with it. And originally it was just teas. It was just the teas. Now we have branched out to lemonade and also juices as well. So it's going good. We're in Kroger's, we're in H-E-B, we're in Whole Foods, we're in all 7-Elevens in Texas. So it's growing. It's growing.
When you invest, a lot of athletes that I do business coaching with, especially when they have a big brand like yours, a big name like yours. Do you like to put your own money in, or just let them use your name as part of the deal, or do you do both?
I do both, but I would rather not come out of pocket.
Yeah.
for anything.
That's the Dave Meltzer lesson. Star athletes, don't put your money in anymore.
Yeah.
Just use your name. I'll negotiate it for you. No money.
Exactly.
But you do take those risks, and like me, both of us, we've been taken advantage of. We both have lost money in our businesses. What do you think the main reason? I can tell you, I didn't ask for help. That's why I lost, my money. When I made it back, people were like, how'd you make it back so quickly? I said, I asked for help. I figured out, you know what? I know all these successful people. I might as well ask them, hey, I'm going to start over. What should I do? And things were much easier that way. What do you think is the number one lesson for you for when you've been taken advantage of or you lost money?
I would say the exact same thing. It's funny because I was watching a video that you did, and you was like sitting at a desk, and it was like ask questions, and that would be the number one thing. Like asking questions. And for me, being involved in football and having a busy life, you can get sidetracked with a lot of things and not really put your best foot forward, or be as dialed in with the everyday, the grind of what's going on with
My
the
wife
business.
used to say I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm paying attention. There's just tons of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So there's only so much of me.
Exactly. So that right there is something that I've learned from, and I tell these young guys as well. Try to give them the best advice as I can. And I'm still learning. Like, it's still a process for me. But now I'm definitely like, you know what? I'm involved. I'm gonna dedicate myself and put the time in so I can know exactly what's going on.
And then one of the older businesses I know you own a gym down in Houston, right?
Yeah.
O Athletics?
Yeah, O Athletic.
Yeah, I said O for outstanding, but you know how names go. And you are outstanding. Was that your first business, the O Athletic business?
Well, yeah, come out of pocket. Texas T was a little before that one. But yeah, O Athletic, it came about, it was like a vision at first, and then, a couple years later, it finally came full circle. Because I used to go to like 3 different locations to work out, whether it was hitting the hill, or it was doing yoga, or going to this gym to work out. And me and 2 of my business partners, we were just like, hey man, we need to, find a space where we can have everything under one roof. So that's how we came up with the concept of O Athletic. You have and it's for like your average Joes. It's not like a training facility for athletes, which you can use it as that as well. But it has your normal, treadmill, weight room area. We have a boxing ring in there, MMA ring, mixed martial art mats. It's a nice little setup. We have like a 50-foot turf in there as well. Yoga, juice bar. It's tanning room. It's everything you can imagine under one roof.
That's amazing. Now, what I like about those 3 investments is you're the proof of them. A lot of people, one of the mistakes that I made as an investor, I would invest in things I knew nothing about, right? And so many athletes, now that influencers or entrepreneurs are like athletes, people send me free stuff all the time. And it's funny because I try it, and I say to myself, oh, I'm not gonna invest these people. Then I find something I love and I'm calling them.
Yeah.
Hey, where do I get that?
Yeah,
and I get suckered in.
Yeah.
Have you invested in anything that you didn't know about? Have you made those investments?
I have. It was one investment that I made. I didn't really know much about the music industry at this time.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing better now. But for me, it was out of my element. My brother was really involved in it, and I would say it was more his thing because he was kind of like the
You're
feet,
like Mark
the feet
Wahlberg,
on the
man.
ground,
You're investing in your brother's dream.
Lesson learned. Let's just
Yeah,
say
well,
that.
Mark Wahlberg will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, lesson learned with that one. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So it was a hard lesson learned for me because I lost money into that. It's also this company that was based in Minnesota, and they're still out there now. It's called Bite Tech, and I lost a pretty penny getting involved with the wrong people with that. And it was a great concept, and this was when I was in Minnesota, so it was like 2008, around that time, 2009, around that time, and it was very beneficial. It was right when all the concussion things were kind of picking up, so this mouthpiece would like help prevent and decrease the opportunity of someone getting a concussion. And it was a brilliant idea, and it looked good, and it just it just didn't work out.
You and I have both been around a lot of athletes that have invested, and I think a big category of losses come from great idea, but it takes more than just a great idea to make money. In fact, some of my guys, you got to meet them here. One of them has this great thing. Everybody loves it, right? It carries all your information. You tap the phone, it gives you your Instagram, your face. I love the business, but I keep on asking him, hey man, can I meet the guys that created this? Do they protect their patent? Can the iPhone put it internally, right? And I probably 10 years ago wouldn't have asked those questions, right? I'd have been, he's about 10 years younger than me. He's so excited showing it to everyone. I'm like, yeah, but just because it's a good idea doesn't mean it's going to make money.
Yeah.
What are the tools or ideas that you have when someone, you get approached all the time, and I'm sure there's different layers that people have to go through, but what's like one of your values that you look at, to determine the money side of it, right? Because you're obviously, this works for you, the cheese of Texas tastes great, the gym you needed, and gyms, no doubt. How do you determine nowadays, okay, here's a good opportunity I like, but does it make money?
Yeah. So, bringing in my people and sending them.
Yeah, getting your emotions out of it?
Yeah, get my emotion out of it. Because you can, like you say, you can get caught up in, man, oh, it tastes great, it looks great, it's a great idea. But then again, like you say, firsthand, it's, what are the numbers, so, sending it to my lawyers and letting those guys do their thing. I don't know how to do it, so I pay those guys to get it done.
I pay those guys to still do it for me because I'd rather be able to have someone tell me no and it's successful than somebody tell me yes and it be unsuccessful. Yeah. Like I'd rather miss. There's so many opportunities, right? And I used to have a fear of missing out. I was like afraid, and that caused me to make really stupid investments. Now you have your family, you're growing a little bit older. How do you have enough time? So one of the biggest questions. You're in incredible shape. You just broke another record. One of my old heroes would make you a new hero, Walter Payton. So it's no joke how much time it takes as a running back to last that long, right? To recover from surgeries and all the things that you do. But yet you seem to manage, I've met your wife, a beautiful family life. You have great business acumen and energy towards that. But I can't think of any athlete that is as focused in on their career as you as well. How do you manage your time?
Just having a good balance and, having someone to back you up.
Do you have a routine?
Not really, my same routine I've been having as far as making sure professionally, where I need to be. That hasn't changed over, my entire career. But, my wife, she has really helped me out tremendously. And with just keeping things on track, and handling a lot of the bulk of the stuff when, I'm playing football and things like that too. So I got to take my hat off to her for her, what she does to keep everything together and tight as well.
And she's an entrepreneur as well, which is pretty fun. There's so many young athletes that look up to you. And, every team that you're on, I keep meeting more and more. What's the number one lesson, either on or off the field? You take a young kid in his first year and comes up and idolizes you, and what advice do you give them?
Just be, very cautious and conscious of who's around you and who you are giving your time to, because everything that looks sweet isn't.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people.
No
that,
pun on your tea. You got sweet tea?
Yeah.
Okay. The Sugarland, right? That's the sweet tea.
Yeah. But you have people, you have wolves out there that's out there to get you and trying to attack and get something from you. And that was one of my mistakes too, because I'm so kind and forgiving and understanding, and I always give people the benefit of the doubt. And that has really cost me a lot. So that's my number one thing when I talk to the youngsters is, hey, especially when I can sense, like the young guy you met with earlier, he has a good heart,
Oh, yeah.
Especially when I can sense that mentality, just be careful who you're around. Make sure you're vetting people and you really know what they're about.
I watched an interview with Bernie Kosar, and I come from Akron, Ohio, loyal to my family, loyal to my friends, and when I started making money, so many people they'd come out of the woodwork and they're like, oh, I was always, and I had almost a guilt. I went to elementary school with this guy, and his mom was losing his house, and he's like, well, I've always been your good friend, and I'd write checks. And, when I went bankrupt, none of those guys were around to pay me back.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, I'd never asked, but it was like my cell phone must have been blocked if I did ask, because it was like crickets that I was like a cancer. And then even some people that borrow money from you, blame you.
Yeah, that's
because they're too afraid to tell people that they've stolen or taken your money. So they'll start saying things negative about you that aren't even true. Through that, like Bernie Kosar lost all his money because he felt indebted to others. When I look at your early career as well and some of the financial, taking advantage of, it seemed like to me that you were trying to help other people.
Yeah.
And did you ever feel like guilty, with close people around you that, oh, I got to help him, I got to help her?
Yeah, that's just natural, especially when it's family. The family can be the worst ones, unfortunately. Sad to say. But yeah, I felt guilt at times, and mostly it was just me having a good heart and being like, what, I got it. Let me see if I can help this person. But I always kind of stayed back and looked and, if it was something that became repetitive, a couple $100 here for rent, but yeah, you just gotta watch out for people like that. You can't get into the point where you're feeling guilty or, feeling bad.
Watch out for the cousin that always waits for the check. Like, keeps hanging out until you're ready to pay. Yeah. But those are the guys who are like, okay, I see what's going on here.
It's so funny you mentioned, the bankrupt, aspect of it. Everyone just kind of fanning out. It's like, I know going through the financial struggles that I was going through, it was the same thing. It was like crickets, people I talk to twice a week, just catching up and, just talking, small talk. It's like, where are they? It was solid. It's quick. No one's around here, nothing.
Yeah, my wife taught me a line because I was so hurt. I just need to be offended. I'm like, that's my friend I played Pop Warner football with him. Yeah. And my wife said, they weren't your friend, right? It made me feel better almost that it cleared out the people that truly care about me. Including my wife, by the way, right? Yeah. Because I think if I was my wife, I would have left skid marks. It's not like I'm looking like Adrian Peterson. It's like, you don't have any money and you look like that, I'm out of here. So I'm like you, God bless my wife. Yeah. Last question. Most people know this, but I want to reiterate it, one of the most philanthropic people. You had mentioned earlier, Larry Fitzgerald asked you to stay for his charitable event, and you're like, of course I would. And I know Larry's the same way, which is why you probably feel like I do about him. I'll do anything when he asks. But you do so much for charity. So we've talked about the family, we talked about the entrepreneurship, but I think it's important as a philanthropic entrepreneur because there is a social responsibility that you've upheld over, even when you're having your own personal struggles and challenges, everyone does through life. I always see you, from the Pro Bowls, you're the first guy there, at the charitable event, donating your jerseys, taking your time, everybody, and it's not easy, taking pictures with them, signing autographs. Through that, where does that inspiration come from? Because, it's easy when everything's going great to be that way, but I've seen you in struggles be that guy. Where does that come from?
I think that's just rooted from where I came from, small town, and being surrounded around people that really didn't have much, but I was able to sit back and seeing how, family, and how much love was just shown to one another, so that's like the base of it. And just growing up, I've always been that person to, help and, lend a hand. So, me and Ashley started the A&A Peterson Family Foundation, and we're able to do, so much with giving back to the community, because that's the one thing that I feel like that's the most important thing, being able to inspire someone, uplift someone, change someone's life. Like, you never know what a message or, a nice gesture as far as, sponsoring. Like today, I'm doing 26 Days of Christmas, and it's underprivileged kids that we're taking to Target, and they get a shopping spree, because I'm sure they won't get much for Christmas or anything, some of these kids. and just to see the smiles on their face, you know, just to inspire them. That this one gesture might be something that they carry for the rest of their life, that sparks them to have a nonprofit and, you know, do the same thing, you know. So ultimately, that's what it's all about, helping. I feel like that's why we're put on this earth, is to help inspire people.
Well, as a witness to that, I'll tell you, I get to travel all around, and I'm in the same spheres of influence that you are. I see that impact already. You're getting old enough where some of these young kids are in college, graduating college, and they're starting their own foundations, and you're the name that they bring up. And so you should be proud already that that's happening. Now, as much as I love the three companies, Comfort 360, I'll be sleeping on this tonight on my way back to California. We got Tees of Texas, and of course, O Athletic. I want a pair of those. Where do I get those? He has AP26 all day. I live in California. You can't use those here, man.
Yeah, you got my apparel line as well, and it's all day AdrianPeterson.com. So you can go there and get your sandals. You can get your T-shirts.
You got a discount code for me at least?
I got you. All right. I got you taken care of.
AP 2020. That's my discount code. Anyway, check all this stuff out. But most importantly, on Sundays, watch the legend himself. This is Dave Meltzer with Adrian Peterson, Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.